Hello, so I'm gonna start another video series here for my October witchy read series. I think this will be part 2. So I checked out 3 books from the library, and I'm in my son's room, so that's why the room is a little different. Okay, so I checked out 3 books from the library, and these are all witchy romances that I just grabbed on a whim off the new release shelf. So the 3 books I am going to do are A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley, Not Your Ex's Hexes, and What the Hex. So I think this one might actually be a part of a series. I know 2 of the 3 are part of a series, but these were just the ones that were on the shelf. But I'm gonna do a chapter of each of these and decide which one I want to read. I'm still working through my first other video right now. It's mid-September that I'm filming this. And so I still have one more book in my first series to read. So I want to make sure I read one that isn't too similar in vibes as An Unfortunate Side Effect of Heartbreak and Magic. I think that's what it's called. So that will kind of be the determining factor of which one of these 3 books that I read. So tonight I will do a chapter of each of them and let you know my thoughts. Okay, sorry about the lighting, but I'm tired. So I just read the first chapter of A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, and this is about Muriel, not Muriel. She's prophesized to be one of the most powerful witches in the world, and she's like 28, but she's more of like a cottage witch. She prefers baking and flowers and gardening and stuff, and that is like to the dismay of her family. And she's practicing like her skills one night because she's frustrated that she's not as great as she's supposed to be. And she conjures up a demon. Okay. What the Hex by Jessica Clare. This is the second in a series. There's dual point of view. So Penny is the female character and Willem is the male character. And it starts with the male character, and he is a wizard, a warlock, and someone's sending him threats and he thinks it's Stoker. That was cute. And I guess in this world, witches and warlocks, in order to cast spells, they have to have a familiar, which is actually a person, who then I think becomes a witch through serving another witch as a familiar. And so Penny is the female character, and she's like the head of a society of familiars, and they're just waiting to be picked by witches and wizards and all that. And that's all I got so far. I have liked both of these. I feel like I'm more intrigued by this one because of the dual point of view so far. But now I'm going to start Not Your Ex's Hexes, and then I will decide which of the 3 I want to read first. Okay, so this one is Not Your Ex's Hexes by April Asher, and this is also book 2 in a series. The first one was Not the Witch You Wed. So the prologue, I read 2 chapters technically. The prologue is the main character, Rose. They're at a bar or something, and she basically hooks up with a guy. The next chapter is her and her sisters, which I think is what makes up the series. And they are like primas, so I guess they're like a line of witches, and she's the second daughter of the 3, and her older sister is the main one, so she's gonna step in and be like the lead of the family because her magic is the best. And so Rose was previously training for that role because her sister didn't have magic until 32, whereas Rose's came at 8. And so she was training for this role to be the head of the family, but then when the oldest actually came into her magic, Rose steps down. So now she has all this time to herself, and she is trying to rescue 2 emaciated horses from a barn that she drove by, and she enlists all of her sisters to help, and they get her. So that's where I'm at with this one. I was intrigued by all three of them, so I don't really know which one I want to start for sure, but I do think, I don't know, I feel like the tone of this one was more fun, so I think I'm going to start with What the Hex for this vlog series. This is It's Enemies to Lovers, the familiar one, and I just think it sounds intriguing. So I think then next I will do Not Your Ex's Hexes, and then A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Moods. All right. So to wrap up, the first book I read for this series is What the Hex by Jessica Clare. This is actually book 2. And then when I was looking at the 3 books I picked for this video, I think they're all book 2s, which is kind of funny. I read this in one day. Well, a night and then most of a day. So within 24 hours, I read this book. And this is about Penny, who is a familiar, and she wants to become a witch, but you have to serve as a familiar before you can become a witch. And the witches use familiars to like use their power to cast spells. And so she kind of like gets put into this fake dating situation with the main character, who is Willem. And Willem has just he's just down on his luck. People are conspiring against him. And he quickly realizes that like the conspiracies against him are formulated by one specific person, and William quickly catches on to that. And so you kind of have this fun like plot in the background while this romance is brewing, but let me tell you, I was not expecting this to be as open door as it was because of the cover. These illustrated covers get me every time. This book, oh my goodness, it was very steamy. So know that going into it, like very steamy. And I love that. So it wasn't a big deal. But if you are a closed door reader, this is not the rom-com for you. I just really like this. I immediately put the first book of the series on hold, and I cannot wait. Like, I trust Jessica Clare now. Like, she's one of my go-to authors, I think, because I loved this book so much. I had book club and I was recommending it to everybody, and all of them are putting it on hold. There's also some representation for like uncircumcised, which, yeah, I know that's like a weird thing to bring up, but I don't think it is, because I don't think there's a lot of representation for that. And like, I have a friend whose son is not circumcised, and so when we were talking about it, she's like, I don't see enough of that. So there's really like good body positive talk about that, which I just thought was very interesting. I bet you weren't expecting this to go there, but yeah. Anyways, so I will pick up the next one. I'm undecided which one I'm going to read, and right now it's just not the time to do that. So I will update you with the next book and what goes on. All right, so back on our witchy vlog series, I am reading Not Your Ex's Hexes, and I am liking this one a lot. I'm having a lot of luck with the physical books I just randomly picked up from the library. Versus the NetGalley ones that I'm reading right now. So for her entire life, Rose Maxwell has trained to become the next prima on the Supernatural Council, but now that she's stepped down from consideration, it's time for her to focus on herself. She has a one-night stand with a half-demon veterinarian named Damien, and then she gets sentenced to community service just to go work at his animal sanctuary. They end up kind of finding a strategy to save this animal sanctuary, and they also fall in love. Surprise, surprise. What I like about this one is there is like a plot beyond the romance. So there is kind of like the political machinations of the Supernatural Council. There's just more beyond the romance, so I really like it. It is steamy, very open door, but all in all, I'm enjoying it a lot so far. I'm halfway through, and I will probably finish it within the next day or two, but this has been really fun. I really like the cover. There's like plus size representation. I'll update you probably when I finish it. But I'm having a lot of fun with this one. It's blurred by Olivia Dade, who I really like. I'm excited for the world building because it is really good. And it takes place in New York City, which is also a whole lot of fun. I know very little about New York City, so I think it's just fun and glamorous. Like me trying to figure out an animal sanctuary in the middle of the city. I don't know, it doesn't work in my mind because I live in literally Iowa. That is farmland everywhere. So you drive 5 minutes and you hit a field, even when you're in the capital city, essentially. So yeah. Hi friends. All right, finished Not Your Ex's Hexes. Gave it 3 stars, which again, for romance novels, if you've been around here for a long time, 3 stars for a romance novel is really good. It means I really enjoyed it. And then I am going to now read A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. This is the first book in a series. I think I incorrectly stated earlier that it's the second book in a series, but this is the first one, and I started it last night. I'd done the first initial chapter, and then I like dove in last night, and it is kind of funny. It's gonna be like a fake dating situation. Okay, so I am having the most recording issues ever today for some reason, so this video is just super messed up. But this book, Oz is summoned back to the witch's plane by Mariel when she's performing a spell. She does not mean to summon a demon, but here we are, she summons a demon. And he has to be within like a couple, like maybe 50 feet of her at all times, so he can't leave her out of her sight, because demons in this book, they want your soul because it powers their world. So he's trying to get Mariel to enter into a bargain where he'll give her whatever she wants in exchange for her soul. And Mariel is having none of it. And so it's just kind of a funny, like, forced dating situation where demons aren't thought of very highly. And so because he's so close to her, they always have to have excuses as to why this guy is here. So of course he becomes Mariel's boyfriend. And just the family dynamics I thought were really funny. This book really deals with self-confidence and how family can totally make or break you. And watching Mariel come into her own while Oz supports her is really beautiful. I really liked this, but now I'm going to go to the actual footage for the rest of the day where I kind of wrap up my thoughts on this. But that's the gist of the plot for the two of them. Lots of fun. Okay. Wow. All right. So I finished The Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, and I really enjoyed this one. I think I liked the world building perhaps the best in this one. I liked the storyline. The main character is a witch, and she's supposed to be the most powerful witch ever, but she's a nature witch, and her family doesn't appreciate that and what she can do. And she accidentally summons a demon. Oz is just a cinnamon roll trying to figure out emotions, because demons don't have souls, but somehow he has acquired one. He has a soul and he's like having feelings. Of course he falls in love. He doesn't know what that is. It was just, he was a cinnamon roll and really sweet. The narrator for this audiobook was outstanding, and I had a really great time listening to it. I will say, between this one, Not Your Ex's Hexes, and What the Hex were all cute. The steamiest one was What the Hex, although all of them were steamy. I just think the steamiest one was What the Hex. And I think as far as world building, I liked this world the best. The other two I enjoyed, but I think this one just had the best world building. There's going to be a second book coming out, I think pretty shortly, if it's not already out. And it follows Azeroth, which is Oz's mentor, and Mariel's best friend, Calendia. And I'm excited for that too. I will say I'll probably keep reading all of the books in the series for all three of these series, because I like really did enjoy them. My friend Gwen sent me Go Hex Yourself, which is the first one from the What the Hex series by Jessica Clare. So that's exciting. Thank you, Gwen. This is going to be the end of my witchy vlog. I was going to do 3, but between Spookopoly and book clubs and all of that, I'm just going to say I'm done with these 2 videos. I have 3 other books that I mentioned in my first video that I want to read. The one that I'm the most intrigued by is The Witches of Bone Hill. It had a write-up on NPR that I was really intrigued by. I might still try to fit that one in, but that would be in like a wrap-up, or if I can make it fit for a Spookopoly role. It's like a gothic horror witch book with a little bit of romance, but it's definitely described as more of a gothic book than a romance. And I've heard really, really good things about it from multiple platforms, and NPR is like my favorite thing. Listen to it every morning. So when they mention a book, I'm always intrigued, because they tend to pick like the more literary, the more books with like long-term standing that might end up in the best of the year list. So I'm just intrigued by that. So if any book of the 3 that I mentioned that I was still thinking about reading, I will try to make that one work. The other one is Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I'd like to make work as well. I'm done with this series. The next 2 videos you will see from here will be probably Spookopoly. It'll be like the first couple weeks and then the second couple weeks. I'm rolling as I go for that. I've already rolled for 5 books, so I'm in a good place to have another video come out next week on that. I would love to know if you have any witchy rom-coms that you've loved. Please drop those in the comments. And if you have finished it, let's do a witchy Halloweenish emoji. You pick, not picky, down in the comments. Thank you again so much for stopping by. I'm so grateful for you. And until the next video, everybody, bye.